Hello, Stitchy friends! How is everybody doing? Today is Tuesday, March 18th. This is Flosstube number 39. 39 of these videos that you've been watching of my cross-stitch journey. Welcome. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate you taking the time to come back and catch up with me. My name is Andrew, this is Winston, and this is the channel The Runner Stitcher, which I talk primarily about my cross-stitch journey and a little bit about running as well here and there. So I hope you enjoy what you see, and I hope you enjoy this update. As far as running goes, since I'm in Florida, I'm enjoying the running a lot more. We've had some really nice mornings for me to run in. It's not like super hot yet. In fact, some of the mornings, like this morning, it was only 41 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. So that's pretty chilly. I did have to wear my gloves and a long sleeve shirt, so that was kind of a cooler run, but it actually feels nice. And what's beautiful about Florida this time of year is even though it's cool in the mornings and the evenings, the daytime still heats up to like mid 70s. So it's been really nice. I did have one really hot day. On Saturday, I had a 6-mile run, and it happened to be 71 degrees and 90% humidity that day. And my body is just not used to the humidity right now, so that was a really, really tough run. But I've rewarded myself with some time on the beach after that. I'll pop a picture in here of what that looks like. But yeah, had a really nice time and just fun to enjoy the warmer weather and some beach time. So I'm very happy to be down here and very happy to be getting some better runs in. I don't have any races planned at this point until I have a half marathon in the middle of May, the Brooklyn Half Marathon. So that's sort of what I'm training for now. I am kind of looking to see if there are any races here in Florida that I could do while I'm down here. So maybe one in April will sneak in, we'll see. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. So all right, let's jump into the stitching for the week. So since the last time I saw you, I've put in 5,123 stitches. So it was a very good stitchy week for me and Winston. Yeah, got a lot of progress in, so I'm excited to share what I've got for you. I've got 5 different WIPs, and we'll go through those, and then we'll talk a little bit about plans, but not much since I don't really have a lot of plans this month, which is a kind of a change for me, and I'm kind of liking it. So, but let's just jump into the WIPs. So first of all, let's start with our temperature stitching pieces. And these are pieces that I've assigned to numbers 0 through 9, and then I look at the upcoming forecasted temperature, and whatever the second digit of the temperature is for the day, that is what I stitch on for 100 stitches. So the first one I'm going to show you is Festive Frosted Pumpkin Cottage. I'll put a picture in here of what it is going to look like. And this was only called for one day, so it was supposed to get 100 stitches. And I'll put in a video of where I was when I started. Okay, here's my starting point for Festive Frosted Pumpkin Cottage. This will only get a little bit of stitching, so I'm going to actually start in the tree on this side and start working down the branches a little bit just so I can get some progress on that before I move on to the fun stuff. So you'll see where I got. And here is where I got to. So I think the only thing I added was this tree over here. I think this was the 100 stitches to just start that tree. I put in 105 stitches. I'm now at 40.33%. And yeah, really enjoying this piece. This is by the Witchy Stitcher, and I'm stitching this on an 18 count Witch's Brew by Oblong Meow. And I'm stitching it with kind of a mix of threads, some called for, some what I had in stash, but I didn't have to buy anything for this project, which was fun to be my first kitted up from stash piece. And yeah, I'm really loving how it's looking on this green fabric. I think it just really pops, and it's going to be very fun and Halloween-y, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So that was only 100 stitches, so not too much to say about that one. And this lives in my beautiful bag from Sarah Stitchy Spot, and I love it. Okay, the next piece is Put a Bird on It. This is from Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery, and let me see if I can pull up a picture here of what it's going to look like real quick. I can pull it out. 1 second. Okay. This is what it's going to look like. This beautiful Quaker piece. I'm stitching mine all monochromatically, so doesn't quite look like that. But I will put a picture in here a video in here of where I started. Okay, so here is my starting point for Put a Bird on It for the week. Ooh, that big blue motif, well, the big section motif here in the center looks so good. I am going to be working on this Quaker here. This is a new Quaker motif that will be sort of a half one here. So that is where I'll start on, and you will see now where I got to. Here is where I am now. I'm going to use this bag as a backdrop. So this was called for 2 days and got 216 stitches, which puts me at 24.9%. So almost at 25%. And the motif that I worked on was this one here. So I think I had just the beginning section done here, and I carried it all the way to the other end of the motif. So I've got a little bit more to go around the top of that one, that sort of Quaker motif. But this is really fun. So I'm stitching this on a 32 count tartan green linen. Maybe it's Witchy, although I'm not sure. It doesn't quite feel as stiff and solid as Witchy, so I'm not sure what it is. It was just from a D-stash. And I'm using the Be Stitch Me silks. This is the colorway Dandelion, and I'm really loving the variegation that comes through in this piece. So yeah, so not too much added, but progress is progress. So about 25% done with the piece, which is good because this is a stitch along that's hosted by EJ from the Sunshine Stitchers, and the goal is to have it completed by the end of the year. So I guess if I'm looking at the first 3 months of the year being the first quarter of the year, I should be at 25%, so I'm about there. But this was a really fun piece. I'm so happy that I got a little bit more progress on it, so now I want to pull it out again. And this lives in my beautiful patchwork bag from She's So Sassy on Etsy. This is by Sheila, the Crow River Stitcher. I love it. It's so great. So, all right, that was my second temperature piece. And now let's go into the final one. So this was the WIP piece, and this was Autumn is as Joyful by Lila Studio. I will pull up a picture here of what that's going to look like. Let me find it. You probably all know what this is going to look like already, but just in case you don't, here is what this looks like. It's this beautiful autumn-inspired Quaker, and I'm working in this top corner here on those sort of Quaker motifs. I'll pop a video in here of where I was when I started. All right, here's my starting point for Autumn is as Joyful by Lila Studio. And I'll be working on that green Quaker motif. We'll see if I can get it done this week. You'll see the progress now. And here is where I got to. So this was called for 4 days, which completed the rotation in the Witch Whip category. And you'll see that I was able to complete the center of that green Quaker medallion right there. So that is just a beautiful green. I really loved stitching that Quaker. And what I think is really cool is you think of Quakers as having obviously designs and symmetrical designs in them. What I thought was cool is she added these little leaves on the corner. So it's still a Quaker design, but she added a little element of fall that I just thought was really, really cute and really fun. So yeah, this is coming along. So I'm now at, let's see what I'm at. 10.57% on this project. And I'm really happy with that. This is a 40 count Winter's Brew by R&R Reproductions. And I'm stitching this, sorry about the glare there from the window. I'm stitching this on with the Vicky Clayton Silk Pack. So I'm stitching it 1/2 linen threads. And the colorway is a little bit more brown than what it's showing up in the camera. It's getting a little bit washed out in the camera, but I'm really enjoying this for sure. So since that completed the Witch Whip goal for temperature stitching, as you know, it was time to pick a new one. So I spun the wheel and had you vote. And the two pieces that came up were Put a Bird on It by Modern Folk Embroidery and The Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. So I had you vote to see which one you would prefer to go in the Witch Whip rotation next. And Overwhelmingly, the Fruits of Plenty won. So I think the total amount was there were 108 votes for Fruits of Plenty and 16 votes for Put a Bird on It. Now, most of you said this was a really hard decision. Obviously, we all love Jacob's pieces, and yeah, it's hard to choose between the two of them. But a lot of you chose Fruits of Plenty because it's one that I haven't worked on in a while. I think the last time I pulled it out was right at the end of the holiday season, at the end of December, to try to get my WIP goal completed by the end of the year. So it's been a little bit of a time since I've pulled it out. And others of you said you didn't want me to get too burnt out on Put a Bird on It since I'd focused on that last week. So yeah, that will be the next temperature stitching piece for the Witch Whip category to get up to 1,000 stitches until we pick a new one. Now, since I knew that was the winner, I could just tell by the number of votes streaming in, I decided, you know what? Since everybody wants to see it, I'm just going to make it my focus piece this week. So that's what I made my focus piece. Now, here is what the Fruits of Plenty is going to look like in the end. It is this stunning piece from Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery. It's just so pretty. I love it so much. And it is such a joy to stitch on. I think other people talk about Mirabilia as being comfort stitching. For me, this piece from Jacob is my comfort stitching. You're not changing floss a lot, so you're really able to just kind of get in the zone and go. Everything is pretty much connected, so you're not having to do a lot of counting, and you can kind of just work off of wherever you're at in the piece. And it's just so relaxing and so comforting for me. So I really enjoyed making this my focus piece for the week. So since I did that, I was able to add in 3,778 stitches, which puts me now at 33.7%. I'll put a video in here of where I was when I started. All right, here's my starting point for the Fruits of Plenty. I think I'm deciding to make this my focus piece for the week. So where I'm going to start is probably this section here. I'll keep bringing down this green, the lighter green, and I might switch over to here and sort of do some more fill-in on this side as well. But we'll see, so stay tuned. And now you can see where I got to. Ooh, it's getting so long I can barely fit it in the video. But there's not, I just brought the edges of the border down. But the main part that I worked on was this over here. I completed this whole light green section. I think I had about maybe half of it done before. So I completed all the fill-in of the rest of this section here and did all the outlining around it. So the dark green outline is there. I also brought this triangle little motif down the side. I brought that all the way to the very bottom of where it hits. And I did the same on the other side. I have to be honest, that was probably my least favorite part of this piece so far, were these little triangles on either side. And unfortunately, I've got 2 more of those sections as we go down further. But hopefully I'll forget about that until I get around to it, because they're quite far down in the piece. But anyway, since I wasn't enjoying them so much, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to eat my vegetables and do it on both sides, get that completed, and send that down. So that's the end of these like triangle sections right here and here. Yeah, so I did all that. Then I worked a little bit more in this green section. This green section here. I brought this down a little bit further and sort of started filling that in. The green section, it looks beautiful because what you're stitching is the negative space. And so the motifs that you're seeing, the little flowers and the vines and the leaves, they're not stitched. That's just the fabric behind it. But that means it is a lot of stitches and it takes a while to get through. It's very fun to stitch and I really enjoy it, but it is a lot. Okay, so then I also finished this little triangle motif here. I think I had it maybe just started, but I hadn't filled in all of the flowers and the detail there. So I finished that. And then I started working on the borders here in the center and kind of bringing this down for the next big motif. And I got started a little bit on that center motif. So that is the stems from the branch that goes above the birds, and then there's 2 birds that sit on either side here. I didn't get into those yet, but maybe the next time I pull this out, I will. And yeah, there's a few more berries that go on this vine, so this is just barely started, but yeah, really happy with my progress on this, and that is able to get so much done in 1 week. Now this will go in temperature stitching, so this will come up in the next couple of weeks to get some stitches on, and that will get another 1,000 on this piece. So really, really enjoy this. And yeah, it's getting so big that pretty soon I'm gonna have to start holding it back like this. But yeah, I just love it. Now, some of you have been asking what colors I use for these greens, and this is not my original conversion. I found this on Instagram when I first started stitching. Someone had posted their version, and so I reached out to them and asked if I could use those same colors, and they said yes. So it's not my original idea, but I loved it so much. So the dark green is DMC 890, and the lighter green is DMC 320. 320. So yeah, just DMC, and it looks really beautiful. So definitely had a lot of fun with this piece this week, and I thought you would all be excited to see some major progress since you all voted for it. And now we'll go into temperature stitching. So since we're talking about temperature stitching, let's just jump a little bit into the plans for the week. I will pop in a picture of the chart here of what it's going to look like for the week. And unfortunately, Fruits of Plenty got 0 days. I think this happened with Autumn Quaker too, when we switched it out the first week. I don't think it got any stitches either. So good thing I made it my focus piece for a week, because at least Fruits of Plenty got some major progress for you to see after you voted for it. But it will come out, just not this week. And then Festive Frosted Pumpkin Cottage, that actually got called for 6 days, so that will get 600 stitches. And Put a Bird on It got the final day, so that will get an extra 100 stitches on that piece. So those will be my temperature stitching kind of focus pieces for that week. The final WIP I have to show you is Saga, and I don't have a video of where I was when I started. Sorry, going back to Fruits of Plenty, that is stitched on a 32 count antique white, no, smoky white Belfast linen with 2 strands of thread over 2. Okay, now into Saga. Since the last time I saw you, I added 582 stitches. I'm now at 30.88%. And I don't have a video to show where I was because I kind of finished the bottom of the second row of arches. So where I was beginning the third row, there wasn't really much to show anyway, so I didn't take a video. And honestly, this might be the most boring update on Saga you've ever had because basically what I did was I completed the bottom section here of this arch. So I think I had just a little bit left to do in the last video that I showed you. So I was able to, yeah, complete that arch fully. And then I decided that I'm going to go back over here because I do prefer to work left to right. And I thought it would just be more enjoyable if I came back over here to this side and started the third arch on the side that I enjoy working on. So now this section here is still in the big arch. So the arches get much, much bigger as we go through this piece. And so it might be a while till we get another story because these arches are very massive. But I was able to add in some stitches up here and then this little bit down here to get that arch kind of going. So yeah, that was really fun. But as I said, probably not the most exciting update on Saga since it was only 500 stitches and since I'm sort of switching gears into the next arch. So we'll see how far I can get next time. But here is the full piece so far. This is stitched on a 36 count vintage country mocha, and I am stitching it with the Silks for You PR207, 1 strand over 2 linen fabrics. So this will definitely come out again for its weekly stitch goal, and you'll see this next week. I'm excited to see, now that I'm in that arch, I'm excited to see how far 1 week will actually take me with that, and when I can get going. So, yeah, and those are all my WIPs for the week. So that was my stitching. As far as a focus piece for this upcoming week, I don't have one picked yet. What's been kind of nice about not having such strict goals is I can just stitch what I want. And so I've kind of been letting my mood dictate what I wanted. So we'll see what I feel like working on. Definitely I'll do the temperature stitching and I'll do Saga. And from there I will pick a project. and see where it is. I'm leaning maybe towards put a bird on again, just so I can get some really good progress and get ahead of the game. But we'll see. Stay tuned. That could change. Yeah, and I think that's really kind of all I've got. I know some of you have been asking if I'm going to have my mom on here again. I did that in one of my early videos last year when I was here in Florida, and I know you all enjoyed seeing some of her stitching and her projects. I think she will be coming on at some point, so stay tuned for that, and she'll be sharing a little bit about what she's been up to in the past year, what projects she's been doing, but that should be fun. So stay tuned for that. I'm definitely trying to get her back on. And as far as haul goes, I don't have anything to share, but I did order some exciting kits that hopefully will be back in New York when I get back there, that I can share with you at that time. So stay tuned for that. But it's been exciting to see everybody's Nashville picks and what they're working on from the needlework market. I didn't order anything from that this year. Nothing sort of jumped out to me that I had to start immediately. And so yeah, but it's been so much fun to see what all you guys are interested in and are stitching on. I think that's so much fun, and kind of there's a slew of good designs this year. Some really, really great ones. The only one that I know I will for sure be stitching is from Lila Studio, and that's the Winter Quaker that she released. And yeah, other than that, life is pretty good. I'm definitely enjoying the warmer weather in Florida. I am here, but it's not really a vacation because I am working as well. I'm just working remotely. So during the days, I'm still at work. And yeah, but I get to enjoy the evenings and the weekends with my parents and enjoy the warmer weather at that time. So it's been really nice. And I'm not sure yet when I'll head back to New York. I don't have a flight booked yet, but we'll see. We'll see how long I stay down here. So yeah, otherwise, I think that's it for this week. So keep running if you're a runner. Always keep stitching, and be kind whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now. Until the next stitch.